Hi, welcome to Craft Sauce and Chaos. My name is Rebecca and welcome to my channel. I am so excited for today's video. It is Try It Tuesday and it is hosted by Sammy at Unicorn Desk Design. I have watched Sammy for, I don't know, 2.5 years now. 2020 is when I started watching her, and I have gotten so much inspiration from her. Thrift flips and wood rounds and signs, and just actually all different kinds of crafting ideas. And I actually have redone my office desk, and you can't see it, but I redid my office desk based on some inspiration that I got from her, because my desk was just dated and ugly, and it needed a remake, and some things are just not in the budget, and so a little chalk paint and a little distressing, and it looks new and fresh and a little updated, and I actually am just in love with it. So anyway, I am an activity and program events director and in Southwest Missouri at a skilled nursing facility, and I love what I do. And as you can tell, I have got my office full of decorations for an event for tomorrow, but I have learned that you have to do things on a budget, and so I craft for work and I craft for home, and I do things as thrifty as I possibly can, because money doesn't grow on trees, and when you work in a job in the nursing field, you actually have a very tight budget that you have to work with, so you have to be creative. So anyway, I love what I do, and I'm very, very happy to do it, and I love sharing my job with you guys out there. So come craft with me. My first craft, I am going to use 4 canvases that I picked up at the Dollar Tree in the Crafter Square aisle, and I am going to attempt to remove the canvas from the frame. Now, I tried several different things. I used my wire cutters, and I used the scissors, and I did not want to go out to the garage and get my needle nose pliers because it has been cold. So I actually worked with this until I got a plain old butter knife. I figured out that the best way to remove the canvas was to just kind of cut it away from the wood frame, and then get my butter knife under the staple, and then just kind of work it up. There's probably a better way to do this, but this is just how I figured out how to make it work. And then once I had the canvas removed, I took the skinny craft sticks that I picked up at Walmart, and I just laid one end down and glued it, and then I held it until it was nice and tight, and then I took another and glued it kind of at the other angle to the top of the frame, and held it until it was really good and tight as well, and but still had a little bit of wiggle room. And then I laid a really good line of hot glue, and then I put the 2 ends together and hot glued them really nice and tight together, if that makes any sense. And then I just went underneath what I had already glued, and I did the same. I glued one of the skinny craft sticks, woof, can't talk, and then I put some hot glue on the top corner, and then held that until it was good and tight, and then I put another dab of glue on the corner and held that in, but I left a little bit of room, enough for it to just kind of swivel. And then when I got it just where it would swivel out just a little bit, I laid a really good line of hot glue on that inside, and then I swiveled them together and then just glued them both together and held it until it was really good and tight. And then I had kind of a crisscross frame. So there is my first one. I put two together in a crisscross pattern, and then I left two blank. Spoiler alert, I decided that I was going to make a lantern for my table. So I wanted a little rustic lantern. I used some wood glue that I picked up at the Dollar Tree, and I just put a little wood glue intermittent here and there because I wanted it to hold a little bit longer and more, you know, it would last a little bit longer. And then for a more hold that would last right now, I decided to put some hot glue in between the wood glue. And that is how I got my lantern to make my square. So the idea behind Try It Tuesday is to make 3 or 4 crafts using the inspiration from a creator who inspires you. And the crafts that I have chosen today are from Olivia's Romantic Home. I started following her 4 years ago or so on Facebook, and I absolutely adored her. She was like, I was like, oh my Lord, this girl is doing with Dollar Tree craft items what I'm doing. And so I watched her and she just inspired me. So my lantern is actually inspired by something that I had seen her do during her wedding glam series. And she had done this with picture frames and did a floating, I believe, centerpiece. It was absolutely gorgeous. So since nothing is ever square, I had to use a clamp on one of the edges. So I used florist wire then, and I'm not going to do a glam piece, and I'm not going to put a floral on top of my lantern. My lantern is going to be more rustic. So I cut 3 links of florist wire that I had measured over the top to know how much of length that I needed to make a little beaded handle. Now, I used 3 links because I thought maybe that would give it a little bit more weight. One strand would have just been a little bit too wobbly. So I chose 3 strands. And so I just wired it on the side of my lantern, and I wrapped it around very secure and kind of left the ends a little bit, um, kind of a little bit because I wanted that little rustic look. And then I just started um, placing my beads on. And my beads I had left over from another project. And so I took, I believe, 8 small beads, and I think I used 4 of the medium-sized beads and 4 larger beads, and then on the other side I went down with 8 small beads. I think that's the pattern that I used. Don't hold me to it, because honestly, I actually put my beads on, and then once I looked at it, I was like, that's way too many, and that's just going to be wobbly and too tall. And so then I took my beads off and I restrung them, and that's just the beauty of crafting. It's just no rush, no hurry. It's kind of relaxing. You can just style it however you want and make it look the way that you want. And you can just kind of do however the mood strikes you. So anyway, I just put my beads on the wires and just strung them on in the pattern that I thought was really kind of neat, and decided that my I wanted my lantern to look. But go check out Olivia's Romantic Home. I'm telling you, really during 2020 was a rough year for a lot of people, everyone, let's just say everyone. But for me, it was a really rough year, and I had sequestered myself, and my son had passed away, and I spent a lot of days really by myself. And she has such a sweet spirit. I followed her on Facebook. I subscribed to her YouTube channel. And on Facebook, she does a lot of prayer cards of a morning. And there were a lot of days when her sweet spirit and her prayer cards were the only source of peace and love and kindness and really the light of God that I actually seen that day. And it was what got me through my day, honestly. And I would kind of hop on to her Facebook and her channel just to kind of see what her prayer card would read that day. And so I am a faithful watcher of her channel. And I follow her on Instagram. She is on all the social media outlets. But I just have a sweet place in my heart for her because of what her inspiration and what her prayer cards actually helped me get through a very rough time in my life. So you never know when you speak into your camera or the words that you say, or when you bump into somebody in the grocery store, you never know who you're touching and what you are doing to touch their lives. Just a note. But anyhow, that's just a whoa. I just rabbit trailed really bad there. But so once I had all of my beads counted and made sure they were even on both sides, and I liked the height of my handle, I just wired it on and looped it around, and then I just looped it around the side and as tight as I could, and wrapped it several times, and then I just cut it with my wire cutters and made sure it was really nice and tight. Now I chose to spray paint my lantern with some spray paint that my husband had in the garage. You can craft paint this. You can use craft paint. And then I put some berry garland on it for my display purposes. But that's how it came out. Project, I wanted to make some napkin rings, and I went to the Dollar Tree and I looked high and low, and as with the Dollar Tree shopping, you can look high and low and you may or may not find what you want. So I remembered back about 4 years ago, 3 years ago, somewhere along that timeline. I am terrible with time. But it was 3 or 4 years ago. I had seen Olivia on Olivia's Romantic Home take toilet paper rolls and make some napkin rings. And I have also seen other crafters make napkin rings out of shower rings, but I've never really thought that that was maybe a good alternative because shower rings are so wide, and I didn't want really my napkin to be, flopping around in there. I don't know. So I thought, Olivia did it. I'm going to try it. So it may be fab or it may be flop. But I'm going to try it. I'm going to give it a whirl. So I saved a couple of toilet rolls and I just took my craft knife and I cut them down. I used some apple barrel acrylic paint that I had on hand, and I just set about painting these toilet paper rolls some red with some red paint. And I was very leery about how this project was going to turn out. I will be quite honest. Um, I didn't want to display anything on my table that looked like it had been in the bathroom. And I didn't want it to look really cheesy. So I was a little leery about how this was going to turn out, my confession. But um, I I really figured the paint, when I put it on the toilet paper roll, was going to make it a little bit soggy. I don't know why that was in my head, but anyway. Um, so I just, all four rolls, once I had them cut down to the size that I wanted, um, I just put this paint all over them. And one coat did an excellent job and it covered it really quite nicely. And I was actually very pleased. It didn't make it soggy at all, and the cardboard held up very well. Um, to the paint. So, delightfully pleased at this point, and actually quite surprised. So, one little coat with a sponge, and I had all of my little toilet paper rolls um, covered with my red apple barrel paint. I think the color was bright red. I think that is what I used. So, anyway, my next step after I got them all painted was to take some nutmeg brown and just put a little dab on a paper towel and just kind of brush it over the red to kind of tone down that really bright color. It was just a little bit too bright red. But I work with what I have, and that was what was available. So um, you use what you've got. There's no reason to run out and buy anything special. You just kind of work with what you got. So I used the nutmeg brown and just kind of dabbed it on and kind of softened that really bright red up. And I was really pleased with how that actually came out. Um, Totally, absolutely surprised, if you really want to know the truth, and completely delighted with how these were turning out to be. And by the time I got the brown on there, they really stopped looking like toilet paper rolls. What inspired me was when I picked up this berry garland at the Dollar Tree. I had picked up a purple and I had picked up a red in my Dollar Tree haul. And I was anxious to use that. And this is what had inspired my napkin rings and what had sent me on the hunt to actually find some napkin rings at the Dollar Tree. So I just put a little dab of hot glue on my toilet paper roll, and I just wound my berry garland around, and I held it in place until it was nice and secure, and I just wound it around until I thought that it looked really kind of the way maybe a garland would just kind of fall naturally. And I put a little dab of glue here and there around the edges so that it would stay. And then I just took my snips and just cut it. And I was really kind of pleased with how this was turning out. I really was, I was really kind of shocked and surprised at how cute this was turning out. And then once I had my hot glue and had it all set into place, I took my purple and my purple berry garland that I thought initially was for the Easter until I seen that it had red hearts all over it and it was for Valentine's Day. I took that and I just put one little dab of hot glue and put that in the center just for a little bit of added interest to my little napkin ring. And I thought it was just absolutely adorable. So I forget exactly. I believe that Olivia had made these with flowers or maybe some leaves or something floral, but this was not going to fit into my decor. So the berry garland actually was what was going to fit in good with my table. And so the berry garland actually is what, like I said, sent me on the hunt for the napkin rings. And then I remembered seeing her do this with toilet paper rolls. And amazingly enough, it actually works. And it is a really delightful alternative if you cannot find napkin rings. And might I say, budget friendly and thrifty. You've got $1.25 in each of the berry garlands. And if you use craft paint with whatever you have on hand, you've got your napkin rings for less than $3 because, you got to buy toilet paper. Anyway, so you might as well save that roll and use it for something that's absolutely gorgeous. I made 2 with the red, and then I did 2 with purple and then put a strand of red through the middle because I'm doing a place setting of 4. So I thought that I would do 2 with the predominant red and then 2 with the predominant purple. Thank Sammy from Unicorn Dust Designs for hosting today's video and Try It Tuesday. Go to her channel and subscribe. You will not be disappointed. I will link her channel and the playlist down below. For my last and final project, I went to the Dollar Tree looking for their plain black indoor-outdoor mats, and they only had their fall mats left. So I've done this before with the Dollar Tree mats, and I've used the felt placemats and different other things, but you work with what you've got. And so I used some cheap black spray paint from Walmart, and I covered up the Grateful as best as I could. And then I laid out some Dollar Tree wooden ornament hearts, and I put a little piece of tape over the little hole where the ornaments were, and then I used some Rust-Oleum spray paint, and I just started spray painting my little mat. Now, I've used these outdoors, but I have some scatter rugs in the kitchen, and I bought them at Hobby Lobby, and then I would place another scatter rug, a smaller scatter rug on top with more of a holiday design. And when I relocated to live with my mother after my father passed, I'm here to tell you right now, those little small scatter rugs see my mother's cane coming, and they are like, we are going to tangle. So I thought maybe I would use these indoors and give some color, and maybe instead of the cloth rugs, maybe there would cut down on some tripping and falling and a little bit of tangling. So this is what I decided to use, and I thought they turned out cute. crafting with me, and I hope that you have gotten some really good inspiration. So check out Olivia at Olivia's Romantic Home. Check out her channel, and I have linked it down below in my description box. And check out Sammy at Unicorn Dust Designs. She is amazing. And check out the playlist, because I can guarantee you, just put it on and let it roll in the background and do your crafting or clean house and just pop in. I can guarantee you, you are going to get so much inspiration from these ladies, and you're not going to know what to do with yourself. So thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so that you know when I've uploaded my next video, and give me a thumbs up, because I'm trying to grow this channel, because I absolutely adore each and every one of you, and I love all my subscribers, and I am so appreciative for each and every one of you. And I love all of your comments when you do comment, and I love all your comments on Instagram, and you can follow me on Instagram. So anyway, have a great week, and try it Tuesday. Isn't it awesome? So have a great week, and thanks for watching Crafts, Laughs, and Chaos.